Three, two, one. Dope. All right. The first rap song I ever heard was Run DMC's cover of Aerosmith's Walk This Way. The video was all over MTV in 1986, and I was in awe that music could sound like this. Granted, rap and hip hop had been around for more than a decade at this point, and I was too young to be into Grandmaster Flash records, so I had to rely on MTV for my musical fill, which is sort of unfortunate because in the early 1980s, MTV was notorious for only playing white artists, except when a black artist dominated the charts, i.e. Michael Jackson. They needed him to move the needle with his Thriller album in 1983. They started regularly playing this one single black artist, but Run DMC changed that again with Walk This Way. Their cover of this song charted higher and longer than the original ever did for Aerosmith. And by featuring Aerosmith on the track and on the video, it created the first crossover hit of the music video era. The suburban slackers were asking, what is rap? While hip hop heads were asking, what's an Aerosmith? It's hard to fathom a time when people didn't know what hip hop was, but you have to understand that there are people alive today who are older than that genre. I bring this up not because this week's movie has anything to do with hip hop music or culture, but because Walk This Way is prominently featured in this bitchin' soundtrack of a film, and I think that's important. This movie features oh, this movie features also an Echo and the Bunnymen cover of The Doors' People Are Strange, and it also has the very famous sax rock of Tim Capello along with tons of moody synth pop. This was all standard MTV fare, but hip hop in a white people 80s teen movie, that was fucking revolutionary. And Run DMC is still 40 years later bad as hell. Not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. Hi, Cecil.
Hi, Jeffrey.
What's your go-to 80s song?
Oh, my go-to 80s song. So probably something by Heart.
Hmm.
Um,
Like
I'm trying to.
Alone or
Oh, oh no, the title.
Barracuda. No, that's
I've been
70s.
fighting and I'm calling for you. I've been searching. Nothing else. Sorry, I'm just gonna sing
Yes.
this entire song
Uh-huh.
until I get to the chorus. Listen, I have like two Heart records. I have like the greatest hits, and this really was listen.
I have already stated mine, which is Walk This Way. I just always have a very
Oh,
soft spot in my heart just because it,
yes.
it just kind of led me down that path. And I really, really got into hip hop in the late 80s. And I especially fell in love with Public Enemy. So maybe Fight the Power is incredibly
Oh,
dope.
yeah.
But also, I do love an Aha Take on Me is
Oh,
really
yes.
incredible.
Now, I did love Aha Take on Me until there was this guy in college that I knew who literally only listened to one musician, and that was Aha. And it was like all he ever played. So it
Oh.
was like it kind of got like burnt out for me, like my freshman year of college, until the point where I was like, anything but Take on Me. And then, of course, years of karaoke, listening to people scream singing into a microphone.
It's the only way to sing that song in
That's kind of
karaoke is
it.
screen
Yeah.
singing. Well, Cecil, once again, I failed to get us a guest, but I did get us a vampire expert, an aerialist, a world traveler, an expert navigator, and a dear, dear friend. I got us a Symphony Sanders. Welcome back, Symphony.
Oh yeah. Hi
Welcome.
guys.
Hi.
Hello. What's your go-to 80s song, Symphon?
Hmm. Probably I mean I love Barracuda. Don't Barracuda. But also, oh, you know what? Is Manny to make you work hard, make it is that the 80s song? Or is that
Maybe?
70s?
I
I don't know.
maybe? I don't know. I actually don't know that
No,
song.
the Hall and Oates version, not
Oh,
not
Manny.
the
Yes,
I
Nelly,
yes,
don't know.
yes.
not Nelly Furtado. Not Nelly Frittata. Um, I
Um,
like Dad Yacht Rock a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
1982 was that Hall and Oates. Rich Girl was also a fantastic 80s
you're a
song.
rich
Oh,
girl.
yeah.
Gone too far,
You know
thinking
it
it
don't
Yeah.
don't
matter
matter
anyway.
anyway.
Anyway,
We're just gonna do a karaoke
That's
episode.
it.
It's really all we're
the
gonna
whole
do.
episode. You know what? This is where you guys get into the musical version of your show. Everyone has it. A Buffy Vampire Slayer,
Yeah. It's the
all of
one-off
them.
musical episode.
Oh, we could do
Yes,
like a
all the great
jukebox
shows have them.
musical. Just pick 80s songs to tell the story of a film. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if this
love it.
fell in the 80s, but the Pointer Sisters Neutron Dance
Oh,
is
that's a good one.
Oh,
like
that's
that is one of
gotta
my
be
think it
favorite
is.
highway driving songs like
Yeah.
ever.
The
That
Neutron
absolutely has
Dance.
to be 80s. Like
It's
that's
got to
like
be
Yeah.
80s.
that's like some
It's like the
shoulder
most
pad
80s.
bop, right? Like
Yeah.
that is shoulder
Absolutely.
pads all the way. Yeah, 1983. There it is.
Yeah,
From the
firm,
breakout
Yes.
album.
firmly in
Yeah.
the 80s.
Yeah. All right, well, we have the most 80s bitchin' soundtrack. Like when we've brought up
Yes.
bitchin' soundtrack as a possible role, I really
Mhm.
always think about this movie. Like I
Oh, yeah.
always, this is the movie that comes to mind. If you say bitchin' soundtrack, if we ever had bitchin' soundtrack and wild card, my 3 entries for that would be The Lost Boys, The Lost Boys, The Lost
All
Boys.
3 times.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as that child chorus comes in the very opening sequence, I'm like, all the memories come flooding back.
You don't even get you don't even
not fear.
I know, and you don't even get through the like credits when that comes. It's like that's the first thing you hear. So it's one of those visceral, like I always remember. And if I were to hear that song anywhere, I'd be like Lost Boys. It's a Pavlovian
Uh-huh.
experience now. Like I only associate it with that. But yes, this is iconic. And I mean, the people are strange, like doing the
Oh
montage
yeah.
on the pier in this weird pier town is like Santa Clara. Um, which isn't it? Oh no, Santa Carla,
Santa Carla.
because Santa Clara is the real place
Uh-huh.
in California.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's no Santa Carla.
Is there a Saint Carla in the
Saint
canon,
Carla?
in the Catholic canon?
I thought it was Santa Cruz. I thought it was Santa Cruz.
No,
Am I
the
wrong?
town in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely Santa Carla.
Okay.
Yeah, I made
Yeah,
note of that when they drive
me
in and
too.
there's the big Santa Carla, welcome to Santa Carla. But yeah, I do feel like it's going for Santa Clara,
Yeah.
maybe not quite Santa Cruz. That's a little inland, right? Like this is definitely like
Mhm.
oceanside. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like
But
a
apparently
ocean. Yeah.
it
Go ahead.
is the or was the murder capital because they had like in factuality, they had like a couple serial killers or serial killer at least one on the
Mm-hmm.
loose. So this
Yeah.
was like kind of like a weird, oh, the actual place informed the movie.
Yeah.
Probably less vampires though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that would
I
have
mean,
been cooler.
the thing about 80s movies, like they kind of these like action thrillery type of movies is that the 80s we were really fixated on drug abuse, which this movie clearly could be a
Hmm.
metaphor for, and also just how gritty and crimey everything was. That like crime was so rampant, which I think compared to today, it was really rampant. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
But it
everything
always
is
seems like
slimy.
petty crime.
Yeah,
Like it's not
Yeah.
like bank heists or
No,
like
it's like
espionage.
punks.
Yeah,
It's like
punks.
punk spray painting stuff or like knocking stuff over or like
gangs of teens.
yes,
Yeah.
stealing comic books. Like
What?
they were like,
I know, right?
oh, like I'm like, it's obvious they're like standing there like they're gonna steal something or whatever, or just make
Yeah.
mischief. And then they just steal like 1 or 2 comic books and run
Just
away.
like just whatever they get, a handful. Listen,
And don't you, if you've
you're
ever
gonna put
been
the
to a
bins
comic book
out.
store, yeah, if the ones that are in the front though, those are not the good ones.
No, they're kind of
Those are
hoping
the
you'll steal them.
cheap ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the free ones.
Yeah. For those of you who did not grow up in the 1980s, the 3 of us did. So we can speak to this pretty affirmatively. But, this was a time before internet. This was a time
yeah.
really before everyone kind of even had cable or even had video games and stuff to do inside. And so if you grew up in the 80s, every single night you had to go to the town carnival. That's all you did. Every
That's it.
single night. You went to the fairgrounds, you rode rides, you acted like a shithead on the merry-go-round, and then the next night you would do the exact same thing. And there was always a sax concert. So, yeah, this
Every
movie depicts that
That
very
everybody
well.
dance,
night.
clap dances.
Oh my God, Star. That move is iconic. She's
What's your
like,
name? Star. Star. Obsessed. Obsessed. But yeah, no, I remember all of these things are fake because I never went to no damn no carnival in
Right.
my town.
I
There
wasn't
was
allowed to go to the carnival.
well, even like there was one that would come through, like maybe like it was like the county fair or something. It
Yeah,
wasn't like this thing. I mean, but I guess we didn't live in a boardwalk town,
yeah,
No.
to be fair.
like a
Yeah.
You
tourist
know,
town.
we didn't live in Asbury Park or anything, so
Yeah,
I'm sure, or Cape Fear or whatever the hell.
But like neither did these boys either, because they're like staying up in like they are staying at like Lake Tahoe. Like they're nowhere near the ocean based on this like
yeah.
mountain cabin that grandpa owns that they live in.
Yeah,
So they're
yeah.
driving
Well,
like 50 minutes every night to the boardwalk.
yeah, I don't know. I, they are far away, but like, do they always drive? Because like, do they just go into town? Oh yeah, because that's what the grandpa says. He
Mhm.
doesn't go into town.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like, the mom must go in there and like they just have to like hang out
Yeah.
until the mom's ready to go.
I
Yeah,
guess.
Because
it was the time of just, we'll meet back here in a few hours. Listen for
Gen
your
X,
dad's whistle.
Gen X was feral as fuck. Just have fun, kids. Have a good one. We'll meet
just
back at the car.
Yeah.
out running the streets.
Okay, so we in this cold open, we're on the merry-go-round and we see our gang of cool asshole vampires led by Kiefer
Yep,
Sutherland as David. We've also got the
very hot.
delight yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've also got the delightful Alex Winter in this as well as
Bill,
yeah,
Yeah.
from Bill and Ted, and he's playing Draco, is that his name? I can't remember. Something like
Marco.
Marco,
Yeah.
that's it.
You killed Marco, man.
Even though he really doesn't say any, a lot of these, essentially, if you were not Kiefer Sutherland, you didn't get to say anything other than, yeah.
Or
Be like,
Yeah. Or hiss.
yeah.
or what is Michael?
Oh, yeah.
Michael. What does
I thought,
Michael want to know?
I thought interesting that they say Michael like 118 times in this movie. So
Did you
don't do
count?
the Lost Boys Michael drinking game because you will die of alcohol
You will
poisoning.
die.
Yep.
Michael.
Well,
They
Kiefer
also always say the name's weird every time. Like they're like, Michael. It's not like Michael,
uh-huh.
just like
Michael.
Yeah.
Michael.
So David is on the merry-go-round with his punk ass friends, and he starts
Mm,
heavily hitting on a girl who's clearly with her boyfriend, and it starts a fight, and the security guard kicks all of them out. Like, you gotta go. I've told you not to be here. You gotta leave.
Not you guys again.
Yeah, bad boys. But at the end of that night, the carnival grounds closing down, and that guard's walking alone to his little Subaru or whatever.
It's like a Pontiac.
Yeah, it's like yeah, something. He's got a got a he's got something going there. What is it? What was it? Chrysler LeBaron? That's
Oh,
the car I was
yes.
thinking
yeah.
of. But yeah, killer cam from above, drone shot swooping down. The
That's
vampires get him.
They didn't have no drones. I'm like,
Right?
did they shoot all of the night flight shots at once from a helicopter? Because there was a little bit of like vibration to the
Yeah.
to the filming of it, except for a couple times. But like over that one, I felt like it was very shaky. But they didn't have drones back then, so they
No.
must have done helicopter shots
This
or
one, I
something.
think,
Or
like the overhead shots of like the roller coaster lights going out, that feels very helicopter shot because it's so high
right.
up. This one didn't feel that. It felt like maybe they used a crane type of device that could swoop down.
It was really high up,
It
though.
was
It was
okay. You might
really
be right.
high.
Yeah.
I'm voting for hang glider. It was a hang glider shot.
They're like, we got one shot at this night flight.
There's so many overhead shots.
There are
like
a
the
lot.
A lot.
opening, over
Yeah.
the carnival, into
Over
the
the
cliff during
water.
the day.
I might be
I
on
mean-
Yeah, lots of
Symphony's side
flying.
that they must have
When-
gotten a
when-
helicopter one afternoon,
Oh yeah.
had it for 5 hours, did all these shots, and just knocked them out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
But
when
then
Michael and Star are having sex, they're floating above the clouds or something.
or
No,
something.
I love that that's the euphemism
Yeah, I
in
know,
the
right?
thing. That one, they're like, no sex scene, but we can make them feel like they are on cloud nine by doing this like airplane shot. What do you think? And they were like, solid.
You
That
got it.
screams sex to me.
You got it.
Uh, but yeah, I did find it interesting that immediately they were like, these vampires fly, because that's not always a common gift
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
vampire. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's sometimes it's like only reserved for like in I think Interview with the Vampire, they talk about how it's the old one, only the oldest of them have that sort of, or like certain ones like special bloodlines or something like that. So I just find that interesting that everybody was just floating and flying.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe
No,
that bloodline does that, but I don't know.
I'm curious about your. I always like having you on for Vampire Movie Symphony because you have a good grasp of the vampire lore. And I
Yeah,
think this movie, I was thinking about I think the last episode you were on was From Dusk Till Dawn,
that's still on.
which is a movie that does an incredible job of laying out its vampire rules. It tells you everything you need to know about how a vampire work. And I think
Yeah,
this one, it doesn't do it in quite as compact a way, but I think it does a great job of like demonstrating here are the rules of our vampires. They can fly. They
right,
are they are allergic to light. They don't
yeah.
like garlic, and they use the lore of they have to be invited in
right.
to make all of your tools against them powerless. And
But
then also and then you
only
have to
the
kill the head vampire for the
right.
half vampires to return to human.
Right. But the half vampires can just come up in your house
Yeah.
because she was able, like, he didn't invite her in, and
Yeah.
when she flew up to the window and she came in, but she was still a half vampire,
Yeah.
which I found, I wrote that down specifically because I was like, because they invited Max in. Well, Michael invited Max in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
you
think
know.
Max says after that, he was like, don't you know that when you invite a vampire in, it makes you
Uh-huh.
powerless against them? So I
Right.
think he could have come in on his own. It wouldn't have been like, it wouldn't have been like, what's the Swedish vampire movie?
Let the right one in.
You'll let the right
Let
one
the right one
in,
in.
where she's like, in that one, she goes inside without an invite and she starts bleeding from the eyes. But in this
Yeah.
one, the
Right.
lore is, oh, they can come in. It just means that your weapons like garlic and crosses and holy water work
Oh,
against
I
them.
see. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
But if you're
Well,
invited in, then suddenly you're invulnerable in their home.
Null and void.
hmm. Well, and I mean, everything except for being stabbed through the chest, because when the grandpa came through at the end,
Yeah.
he had
Oh,
been
that's
inviting her.
true. Yeah,
You
that's
know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like you stab
So
a vampire in the heart, like the stab in the
physical.
heart with a
Yeah.
stake, like unilateral vampire lore.
That's the Joker
Yeah.
card there. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because they all busted into the house.
Mm-hmm.
When they
Yeah.
busted into the house, they were not invited. They had
Because I was
never been
like, that
invited
first
already.
vampire came in like in the siege. He
Through
came in
the
through the like the chimney.
Fireplace.
that
Yeah.
should be Santa Claus, bitch. Santa vampire.
Okay,
But
so we've got
yeah.
let's set up our list of characters here. We've got Mother Lucy, played by Diane Wiest, bringing her two
Yeah.
boys. The older teenager, which is played by Jason Patrick, is Michael. And the younger teenager is Sam, played by Corey
Corey.
Haim.
Corey
Right? This
Haim.
is
Yeah.
Corey
Yep.
Haim.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up, but yes, it's Corey Haim.
Yes. So they're moving to Santa Carla to live with her father, to live with granddad, eccentric, quirky granddad. I never wrote his name down. He's just always granddad to me.
I think this is
But
grandpa.
yeah, it's just
Yeah, they just
grandpa.
say dad. She says dad, and they say like grandpa, but
Yeah.
they don't ever. Nope.
And he's definitely your like bandana headband wearing, pot smoking, eccentric, off the grid guy who
Yeah.
lives
We
up
call
in the
them
hills.
Willie Nelson.
The very Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson taxidermy service.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, she got divorced, and she has really no money and is just going to live with dad with the kids for a little while. And We also have who else do we? This is what she'll also meet Max, who runs the video store, in right near the boardwalk as well, which
Mhm.
is where she'll get her job.
Love
We
it.
can maybe bring up questions of how appropriate it is for the owner of a company to hire somebody and immediately take them on dates.
Oh, sure.
But
Absolutely.
Yeah. She's like, you
Absolutely
know what?
pretty weird.
After this divorce, you know what I want to do? Put all my eggs in this one basket.
mhm.
With this guy I just met
Yeah.
today.
Today.
Well, he
My
does
second
run a
day of
video
work.
store.
It's our second day of work, but it's our third date.
Mhm.
No, because this thing takes place over like what,
A
2,
week?
3 days?
Like, it feels
Maybe.
like
Maybe a week.
Maybe a week. Why are they smooching in the thing? Like they're smooching out in public like that, and like in the video store where she now is a manager.
She's just the daytime manager.
That's right.
Nobody's
Girl.
renting videos during the days.
She's got the
If
easy
I
stuff.
worked at that fucking place, I'd be like, you know what? This is bullshit.
Uh-huh.
You got a little girlfriend now. And what about me? I was trying to move up to management.
Yeah.
You don't know. There was
No.
other people that worked in there. It wasn't just him.
Yeah. The
That's
whole
what I'm
thing would make
saying.
me very uncomfortable, that notion of like immediate first hire, like hired
Yeah.
and now you're asking this woman out on dates. I'm like, that is an unsafe work environment, sir.
Yeah. Because if you can go that quickly in that direction, it can go badly very quickly
Yeah.
as well.
Mhm.
You know?
So
Anyways.
grandpa is so quirky and odd. Like when they arrive, he's like lying on the porch pretending to be
Fake.
dead and then scaring them.
Yeah.
Just some light transcendental meditation on the front porch in the
Uh-huh.
afternoon.
Playing possum.
He's got the most psycho killer taxidermy room
Oh,
we've
yeah.
seen since, as they reference in this movie, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre style.
Oh, yeah. Lots of bone art. Lots of antler art.
Where also, like, it never indicates that he's some sort of hunter. So where's he getting all these carcasses from? And
That's
all
a
these
great
bones?
question.
Maybe he
Yeah.
does
You
the
know?
taxidermy for other people. Like other
Like they
people
bring it-
him
well-
the animals and then he just stuffs them.
Yeah, the taxidermy beaver made sense in that area. I wasn't sure where he got like the little crocodiles from. That was interesting. That didn't seem native to that region of the
Santa
country.
Carla?
Santa
No.
Carla, California. Famous swampland.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, he had lots of that wood chainsaw art.
Oh, so
Yeah.
much chainsaw art.
You know what I'm
So
talking
many-
about?
So many chainsaw bears.
Yeah, and then like the native stuff, and I was like, sus. I'm like, are you like a general store?
Yeah.
A weird general store? What's happening here?
I've
I
got
did like the one that's the windmill. That's kind of funny.
The windmill. I'm also a fan of
With the horse.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I
it's
like the spiral. You know what I'm talking about? Like the
Yeah.
spiral. It's not a wind chime, but like the wind art, I suppose.
Yeah. It's like kind of
it's like an
sparkly.
optical illusion.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm here for that.
I have to add Chainsaw Bear to our list of potential band names for our random horror Nine-a-Palooza.
Yes.
Chainsaw Bear.
Well, this is where we also learn that Santa Carla is the murder capital of the world, which
Banksy told us.
yeah, that's
That's-
right.
That seems like
Of the
like an
world?
over of the world.
Of the
Uh-huh.
world?
The whole world.
Like is
I don't know.
what is the population?
Like,
here?
are we talking
How many
just
people
per
are getting
capita?
murdered?
Or are we
Right,
talking
right,
like
right,
total murders
Are
in
we
a
scaling
year?
it down? Yeah.
Right.
Are
But
we
I'm
grading
like,
on an average here?
Then why aren't there like 6 people in this town then?
Yeah.
Why
Well,
do
they're all
people,
here for the
people keep
saxophone
coming here?
concert.
Yeah. I do love the touch of the missing people posters all over the
I
place.
know,
Like
like
they always
all
cut to
over.
somebody putting up
Yeah.
another missing child. There's the missing child.
Laddie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Little Laddie shows up on a
Which
milk
why
carton.
is it in quotation marks? because that's what
Was
she
it?
calls him. Yeah, it was like Laddie Thompson.
Is he
I
Scottish?
I love ironic. I love
I
misused quotation marks in my day. I
there's
oh my God. Like whenever I see them, it's spotted in the wild. The best one, they're always in churches, usually.
yeah.
Like, it was like, quote, happy birthday, Reverend whatever. And I was like,
Is it not his birthday?
is it like an ironic birth? Is it a metaphorical birth?
Is it a threat?
Happy birthday.
Does that mean he's dead or he's alive? I'm not sure which one.
I don't
is
think you need
happening.
quotes here.
No.
Maybe
But
an
yeah,
exclamation point.
Laddie. It
Yeah.
said Laddie Thompson. And I'm sorry, you asked if he was Scottish. I'm like, how would we know that from anything in this movie?
No.
Like from his little jaunty jacket,
Yeah, I know. From his what is this like Civil War era
military
military
jacket.
jacket?
I'm like, the costumer on this
Oh,
fucking movie
everything.
was just like, yeah, we're
Yeah,
like
throw it all
gypsy
in.
rock and roll military tough. I mean, Corey Haim's coat,
Oh,
the long
okay.
duster
That he goes into the
girl.
comic book store with.
The long,
Yes,
like
he's like, pretty cool, huh?
sand-colored duster over his shirts in this.
Loud.
Parker
They're so
Lewis
good.
can lose.
They're so good. I loved his shirts in this. The crazy, baggy, bright, fluorescent,
Yeah.
like
Primary
diarrhea
colors,
color.
fluorescent colors. Like there was one of them that, like in the later scenes, that was like little stick figure people touching each other's genitals. That I was like, what is happening on this T-shirt right now? It was like a Hands Across America kind of motif, but I don't think the shirt was saying what you think it was saying.
Yeah.
Hands
It was
across my
all
bone
very
art is
weird.
what it was saying. Yeah,
That's right.
it's what I call dick pics, bone art.
Bone
But on a printed
bone
shirt.
art.
Bone
I
art
love
here
it.
today.
All right, so we're at the fairground. We're gonna be at this fairground quite a fucking lot
Yeah.
Yeah.
during
Thing
the
to
big
do.
famous shirtless oiled up sax solo.
Oh my God.
Just flames going off everywhere. The most Joe Piscopo looking Joe Piscopo that ever Piscopo'd.
I swear they still tour. They still like
Yeah.
perform.
That guy was in
I've-
Asheville. He was
Wow.
he was at our DVD store, like our signing. He's still working the circuit.
The
Amazing.
dancing, the whole thing. I mean, but he created a revolution. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. You
Yeah.
know, I still believe.
Oh my God, the purple spray paint pants.
Yeah. Just like oiled up. I wonder if this movie was the launching of him. And he was
Yes,
like,
I think it was.
okay.
Because I think Tina Turner found him from this movie, or like this led to
Okay.
and then he did like Tina Turner's like big tour as like
Wow.
the only known oiled muscular saxophone player.
Yeah, like cool saxophone, not
80s.
sleepy saxophone, not like
Cool
Kenny G
sax.
saxophone.
No.
Yeah.
wow. Like, I mean, because you could see towards the end of that scene where he's like playing and like dancing around and singing and stuff, you can see he's like so happy with himself. And he's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
this is everything I ever wanted. Like you can see it in his face. And you could see it. That's the moment a star was born.
Yeah. The man has stage presence. No question.
The ponytail,
Uh-huh.
lubed
Incredible.
up,
No
Like a
notes.
slip and slide.
no notes. Those pants could have been way sweatier than they were.
Maybe we got what we needed on the first take. Maybe.
That was it.
He was so good. Didn't even have time to get them pants all sweaty. He didn't have time to
Just
get
walked out one take wonder.
swamp ass. Yeah.
I don't believe.
Okay, so Michael is gonna see. This is where he's gonna meet. I'm gonna kind of like crush together a few
Yeah.
nights at the carnival, but like
Yeah.
he's going to meet Star, who he falls in
Yeah.
love with. This is Jamie Gertz, right? And
Yeah.
he's gonna fall. I always got her confused with Ione Sky. This is Jamie
Oh,
Gertz.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
But there was a vibe of that in the 80s of that girl who's like kind of girl next door, fluffy brown hair, or just like, and she's like pretty, but like she's just like slightly coquettish
Yeah.
in a way,
Meets
you know.
bohemian.
Yeah, but cool, like
Yeah.
cool, and like doesn't care, like looks effortless, you know what I mean? But very
Yeah.
cool girl.
But
With her
he's going to be
sparkly broom skirt.
he's going to be disappointed this first night because he's going to see her hop on the back of David's motorcycle and ride away.
Right.
So, oh shit, he's got stiff competition with the vampire gang.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, younger Sam slips into the comic book store because, like, nerd. Listen. I was a big comic books head as at this age too, and I spent a lot of time in comic book stores. The Frog Brothers knew all of those boys. Like, I know those two boys.
Yeah.
That was who was at my comic book stores. Those two knuckleheads. I never met anyone like Corey Haim at the comic book store dressing like this with his short feathered hair. Like, just amazing.
And his Born to Shop t-shirt.
Like, those guys were like, while they are like the like mechanical, like the rude mechanicals of,
oh yeah.
you know what I mean? Like they're funny and like kind of weird, you know. And a little boy has a voice like this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, Corey Feldman's deep voice is so funny.
He's like, hey.
I love the continual shot of their two parents that are always like super
Passed
hippie stoned out in the corner.
Yes.
So it has this feeling that these two kids have just like raised themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feral.
And all they had was, they're feral kids who all they did was read lore and read comic books, read comics, and then be like, yeah, brother. And they don't even look alike. They don't even look alike.
They are talking like Hulk Hogan. You're right, brother.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I bet you they wrestle in the living room, which is probably upstairs from the place, from the comic book place.
Yeah. Okay. So he gives him Edgar, which is Corey Feldman, gives Sam a copy of Vampires Everywhere. There's gonna be a series of comic books that he gives him about vampires, like one called Destroy All Vampires, etc., etc. And he's basically saying, like, these could save your life. I know you don't like horror comics, you're a DC guy, you like your Batman, you like your Superman, but these are basically instruction manuals. They'll save your life.
And we've written our phone number on the back.
Wink. I see a circle jerk in your future.
I mean, I think they'll have some luck with that. He has a sexy Rob Lowe poster up in his room.
Yes, he does.
Okay, I wrote that down too. I was like, why is Rob Lowe in a crop top? But you know, it is.
There's a lot of queer coding for this character.
Yeah. I love it.
A bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
First of all, high maintenance dog.
Oh yeah.
You've got a husky girl.
The number one gay stereotype: high maintenance dog. So good. Yeah, that husky is a lot, man. I saw a man in my neighborhood walking a husky, and it's such a beautiful dog. And I was like, please don't live in my building. Please don't live in my building.
Because they're so loud.
You're going to hear from it.
Yeah. So just a bunch of like riffraff outside of the store, kind of bikery riffraff, like steals a fistful of comics and runs off. And the people that we see that did that is the original couple that got in a fight with David from the merry-go-round. And they go to like read and giggle at the comics in the back of their car up at Lookout Point or whatever, Makeout Point.
Yeah, Makeout Point.
And the top of his car gets ripped off by GoPro wearing vampires.
Yes.
By the rented helicopter.
Now that I believe was a crane, because it was it was not that far.
Straight down.
But like yanks the guy out, and they I feel like the victims get increasingly more violent throughout. Because once they get to the bonfire, it goes crazy.
Yeah, it's like very mysterious to like more
you don't actually
focused attack. Yeah, you don't even know what you're looking at.
You don't even see them attacking the
Yeah.
security guard or the couple, the comic book couple.
Yeah.
You don't see them attacking them. The only like real attacks happen towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have another night here where we've got Michael finally talking to Star, and then
Should
he's
I
like,
pierce my ear? Should I
yeah,
not
he's
pierce
getting
my
an ear
ear?
piercing.
Wait, but the jacket he was like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna get a cool leather jacket, so I'll be like her boy. I'm like, guys, just cosplaying as the guy she was with is not the way to get her.
Mm. But he wants
Just
that
just saying.
dangly earring and the leather
I know.
jacket.
It did look cool. It did look cool.
Yeah.
Well, you can tell how far he is into vampirism based on how cool his hair is in this movie. Because
Yes.
seriously, as he goes through this, you can trace Jason Patrick's hair and be like, kind of, scruffy. Like he's at his most like Jim Morrison, like hippie
Yeah.
to 80s, like slick when
Yeah.
he's the most vampire.
Yeah. He tries to take
That's
Star out, but David and the dirtbags pull up next
cock
to him,
block.
and he tells Star, get on. And she does. Like
Yeah.
she gets on his bike instead. And he tells Michael, Michael,
Michael,
Michael,
Michael, Michael.
you know where
Michael.
Hudson's Point is? And he's like, yeah, but I can't beat your bike. He's like, you don't have to beat me. You just have to try and keep up.
Oh,
One-liners, solid 80s staple.
oh my
I
God,
fucking love
such
it.
an eight, like absolutely.
Yeah. But they get there via the beach. Like they're just driving dirt bikes. And here's my question. I am not a bike mechanic
Uh-huh.
or a motorcycle aficionado,
Right.
but I feel like if you're riding a regular motorcycle, wouldn't that gum up the business of your bike?
Yeah, they have
Or
to put like
were
chains
they more
on
like
it.
dirt bikes? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like Michael had like a dirt bike kind of
Yeah.
thing, which
Yeah.
that I understand you can ride on the sand and the dirt and stuff.
But like Alex Winter's
You know,
bike was like, you know,
like a
tricked
Harley
out,
type.
like
Uh-huh.
yeah, and like tricked out with like crazy red wheels. I don't know.
Yeah,
Questionable.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough about like how what it does with the engine. It's probably fine for a little, like once you get up to speed, you're not having a bunch of dust flying into the intake. But getting your wheels, like getting any
Yeah.
footing, any
Yeah.
traction on that type of
Right.
sand, I'm like, I do not know how you're doing this.
Well,
Well, they did it, and they race up into the foggy mountains, and they're racing fast next to each other, David and Michael, and they're racing towards the cliff's edge. And Michael
Fog
realizes at the last
everywhere.
second, oh, that is a cliff, and screeches to a halt just before plunging off of
I love all these
the
shots.
ledge.
Like the use of fog machine in this movie.
yeah,
Andrew Lloyd Webber, eat your heart out. Because
Mhm.
this
absolutely.
it is on full blast here.
Mhm.
I felt like there was a series of the daring each. It was like the very daring each other, like in a I don't know. It's just like such a broy way of being like, I'm gonna test your metal as a
Yeah.
guy. So it's like, okay, are you cool enough to be with us, kind of thing. Because like up until a certain point, they were just gonna kill him anyway. They're like, well, if he survives, that'd be cool, but if he doesn't, like whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
We'll
Yeah.
eat you
Uh,
later.
right. Like so they try and run him off the cliff, and then the whole thing with the food.
Yeah, they go
Oh,
back to
yeah.
their lair and order
Yeah.
Chinese food, which I'm like, where did you get the Chinese? Like, is there DoorDash in 1987? Santa
I feel
Carla?
like it must have been sitting there because like
Ooh.
in their den, he just went around like behind like a little curtain or whatever, and then came back with these open ass Chinese food boxes. And I'm
Uh-uh.
like, you don't have a refrigerator, babe. I'm not
Yeah.
eating some old Chinese food, like with chopsticks already in it. Girl, when did you order this?
Also, isn't food repugnant to vampires? You know,
Yeah, they
that's
don't
like
really
Okay,
address that.
yes,
Yeah.
I know. It's like I mean, that also varies, but usually they never eat much of anything. If they do eat a little bit, it's to like just scam people to
Yeah.
let them think that
To
they're
blend.
eating.
Yeah.
Right, but they can't eat too much. But then there's some people, some vampires who are like, we can't consume human food at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess they must in this vampire world. Another thing we learn is that they can
Yeah.
apparently intake some food. Well, because Max eats too,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and
But
he
he's
eats all that garlic, which
but it's after he
he
got
had been
invited
invited,
in. Yeah.
Yeah.
right? But like he can, I mean, he could eat food at all. Like he was eating
Yeah,
the
you're right.
spaghetti.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he
Yeah.
blends in.
Yeah. You just your Zoom screen just got a thumbs up because you did a thumbs up.
Well, because I was just like, yeah, anyway, like I just gestured. Boo. No, it doesn't do it. Wait
Okay,
this way.
so yeah, they've got their secret cave lair. There you go. Get them hearts flying. They
I
got their
love this.
secret cave lair. Yeah.
This cave is so fucking cool. This is where I
It
was
is
like,
cool.
do I need to go back and watch the Goonies? This feels
Yeah.
like
Yes.
the most Goonies kind of set piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big Jim Morrison poster in the
Yep.
background is
Yeah.
amazing.
The like busted chandelier in the middle of a fountain that's like
Well,
crumbling.
they said because it used to be like a really fancy hotel, right? But I'm like, it looks like it's crumbled down and like, is there more? But we only see this like foyer, I guess, right?
Yeah, but they said, if I'm remembering
Oh,
correctly, he said it was like during the earthquake of 1906, it
right.
collapsed down into the the cave into the
Cliffs.
cliff.
Yeah.
Like the cliffs collapsed, and so now it just left this little cave. So now it's their own space. Now, how people in 1906 had this giant Jim Morrison poster in there, I don't know.
That was added later.
Okay,
They
great.
put their
Yeah.
own touches
That's
in.
yeah. The spray paint, the Jim Morrison,
Uh-huh.
The
all of
surfboards.
the dangly fabrics.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
so many dangly fabrics.
Girl, those fabrics, they put those in there. They were like, let's do this one. Tapestries.
So
Yeah.
they you know, they keep fooling him. They apparently have the power to make you think you're seeing something you're not. Because
Yep.
in eating the rice and the noodles, they're like, those are maggots, Michael. Those are worms, Michael. And then when he looks down, that's what they are. But then on second reflection, it's just rice. It's just noodles.
But I feel like they did that, honestly, like the glamoring or
Uh-huh.
whatever. I think they did that so that when they offered the blood, that he'd be like, okay, yeah, right.
Fool
You
me
know,
Literally
once,
blood.
fool me
Yeah.
twice. Fuck
Right.
you, fool me 3
They're-
times. I'm going to drink your blood,
Yeah.
Right.
as
Exactly.
George
Except-
Bush famously said.
Yes, they pass around. They're all chugging from this very bohemian looking bottle
Oh my
that
god,
probably
I love
has
it.
never seen a dishwasher or maybe any kind of
No.
Dawn soap. I don't know.
Straight from the Michaels store.
And Star tries to tell him you don't have to drink that. It's blood. And he's like, yeah, right.
You're right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sure. And he chugs the blood, and they all cheer. And then, of course,
gets-
when you drink the vampire's blood, the next thing you have to do is go to Foggy Bridge.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
he was
happens
feeling-
in Bram Stoker's novel.
He was also feeling pretty, pardon my French, fucked up because he
Uh-huh.
was
Oh yeah.
because he was like floating around and his eyes were all like so I wonder because there's also a thing in some lore, like you see it in like True Blood and stuff, that vampire blood makes people like high.
Yeah.
Like it intensifies
So-
sensations,
Yeah,
the 5 senses, you know.
absolutely. Absolutely. So I feel like, he like that was supposed to indicate that. And I think that also leads to why when they go to the bridge, why he's like, what the hell? Like he feels like he's seeing stuff,
Yeah.
which in a way he is, but not really.
Yeah. He's in it for the endorphins, you know. Thank you, Carrie Fisher.
So they all like are on this train trestle bridge thing, and they all like jump off, but enough to catch the beams below, so they can hang from the bridge as the train goes by. Yeah, this is this is such like 80s, even on into the 90s. We were doing this like extreme teen
Yeah.
behavior.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember the football movie from the early 90s called The Program,
The
where the
lying on the
kids
line
laid
thing.
on the lines in the busy
Oh,
road.
yeah.
Anyways, they're like, come on down, Michael. Come on down. Don't be scared, Michael. You're one of us, Michael. Let's go, Michael.
Michael.
Michael. And finally, they've all fallen into the fog below, and he can still hear them alive. So he's like, well, I can't hold on much longer, so fuck it.
Yeah, he couldn't do a pull up either. He was trying though. He was like, I bet you if he could have done a pull up and like kicked his legs up, he would have gotten up and like been like, I'm not doing that, guys,
Just like
type
walking.
thing.
I'm gonna walk home.
Yeah.
But he wasn't strong enough to do it. So he was like, well, I let go. And then so he screamed. Oh, this is my favorite part. He screamed, and then halfway down, he realized he's like, wait, am I like kind of floating? And then he starts screaming again.
Whoa! And then he
He's like,
lands in his
"Ah!"
bed.
Yes. And then sleeps there till 2 p.m.
So mom, Lucy, she calls home. Mike is still asleep at 2 in the afternoon. And
Yep.
she's like, listen, Sam asked me to dinner or Max asked me to dinner and I want to go on this date with Max. Can you watch Sam tonight? And he says, fine. Also, Grandpa is off on a date. Grandpa's always having dates.
Yeah, with the
The
widow.
widow Johnson or
The
whatever.
widow Johnson. And he also is looking for something to use as an aftershave. And Sam's like, here's some
yes.
Windex. And that's what he does.
Perfect.
Sir, take a shower. Like, take an
Yeah.
actual shower.
His sweaty taxidermy ass on top of this old lady. Oh,
Look, I brought
stank.
you a stuffed Pekingese.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Maybe she likes it. Maybe she's really into taxidermy. Maybe that's
Maybe
what
that
drops
was
her
her
panties.
dog.
But,
Yeah.
You know?
oh, maybe it was her dog. Oh, that would be nice.
Oh, that'd be nice. Unless she didn't know the dog had died.
He's like, hey, I killed your dog, but I stuffed it
Got it back.
and gave it to you as a present.
Yeah.
You have it forever now.
Yep. Michael starts getting overwhelmed by vampire feelings inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's while Sam is upstairs taking his bath. Like, this Corey Haim comic routine throughout this movie is like, I don't know if it's fully effective because it seems to be running off of just high energy more than anything, but he's captivating to watch. I have a hard
Oh
time
yeah.
not loving him in this movie.
You see why he was a dreamboat back then. People
Yeah.
were like,
Yeah.
he's like funny and like kind of goofy and nerdy, but it's like in an endearing way.
Yeah.
But
And
he's turned up to 11
Yes.
yeah.
in every scene.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
fully like 80s hyperactive preteen sort of type. And yeah, he's very funny though in this movie.
Yeah. It's
And
very cute.
he's super cute. And Nanuka's in the bathroom. The husky dog is in the bathroom with him. And it's when Michael comes to the bathroom door, like panting, like, I need blood. And Nanook attacks him, like chews his hand wide open. When Sam comes out to see Mike's hand all chewed up, he's like, what did you do to him? He was like, nothing. He was protecting you. Sam sees that Michael is translucent in the mirror. And it's like, my own brother's a shit-sucking vampire. Wait till mom finds out.
I love it.
So good.
Like, that's the worst thing that you could do is tell your mama.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the other power things or vamp things that I noted. I was like, okay, the glamoring, mind trick, the flying, the no reflection, and then the float sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love it. You know, sometimes you just get such a good night's sleep that you wake up like pressed against the ceiling.
Face to ceiling. I would panic too. I'd be scared.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't control it.
Yeah. Like he's floating out the window.
Yeah.
Just
did vampires invent ceilings? Was that why is that who invented the ceiling?
Well, that's why they have to sleep in coffins so they don't float up to the ceiling.
So they don't float away. So well, he does, like that night, he's, you know, drifting up to the ceiling in his sleep. He like ends up drifting out the window, and he's hanging onto the side of the house shouting at Sam to be like, help me, help me. Meanwhile, mom has called home from the front
The
counter
date.
of the restaurant on her
Which
date.
is so weird.
Oh, those were the times where you're like, can I use your phone to call home? Because
Mhm.
nobody knows where I am right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-cell phone.
But
Ugh, my God.
Sam is freaking out, being like, he's gonna kill me, mom, help, help. And so she just bails on the date, runs home, races home. But while that's happening, he pulls Michael in because Michael says, listen, Sammy, I'm your brother. Just help me. Like, just, I'm still your brother. And we got to stick together. You know, we don't need mom involved in this, whatever. So Sam takes the hit. Mom gets home and like yells at
Yeah.
him for fucking
Yeah.
around. Okay. Michael immediately is just like, even after the scene, mom does nothing to be like, hey, why don't we just talk about what happened? No, Michael's immediately on his dirt bike. He's out the fucking door.
I mean, Lucy tries.
Yeah, she
Like, I
does.
do love the scene of like her sitting in the front porch. She's like, hey, are we still friends? Can we can we talk about this? Like, hello,
Yeah.
hello?
I'm going through some stuff you wouldn't understand, mom.
I know. A lot of problems in most movies could be solved by like, a little bit of communication. But I get how you would be like afraid that she either wouldn't understand or wouldn't
Yeah.
believe what you are saying or something, or think you were acting out because you moved to a different place. But like, I'm sure if you were sincere,
Yeah.
no parent would truly be like, okay, if you're not going to be honest with, you know what I
Now,
mean?
wait a minute. If somebody came
Maybe.
to you and they're like, your best friend, your significant other, came just like, hey, I think I'm a vampire. No, really,
I'd be
I
like,
You're like
really think
metaphorically, like
no,
you.
no.
okay.
I am hungry for blood. I'm hungry for your blood.
So like
Oh,
you're going out partying a lot, like you just have a lust for life, like you really can't get enough of the nightlife. You're staying up late too much is what
Yes,
you're saying.
and
you're
I'm
ambitious.
also can smell the blood in your veins right now.
You're a shit sucking vampire.
I'm telling mom.
No,
No,
honestly,
I suck blood, not
The
shit.
supernatural, it's the supernatural shift because you can see him be like, oh, is it over a girl? And she's like, I know, like, she's like, I'm your mom. I lived through the 60s. I get,
Yeah.
teenage heart
Yeah.
crush, stuff, moving stuff. But when it does cross that line into the supernatural, into the unbelievable,
hmm
Yeah.
It's a little hard to
I don't
know how to approach
I
that
th
subject.
yeah.
I think because I'm closer to a frog brother than than most,
You're a believer.
I
You're the
I would be
Mulder,
like,
Kelly Mulder.
let's do some tests. I honestly would be like, all right, well, let's do some stuff. And we
Yeah.
would literally
Let's
go
try.
through the check. I'd be like,
Yeah,
here's
I
what we
know,
know
right?
about vampires.
Vampire
Yeah.
Be like,
checklist.
okay, are we okay? We're in our house. It's daytime. Let's stick your hand out the window. We'll
Yeah.
just pull it right back.
Just
You know,
we're
Yeah.
just experimenting.
raise
Yeah.
exactly.
I've got
We
some
would run some
Bactine just in
tests,
case. Yeah.
and then
This
we
is
could
literally
figure it out. And then I'd be like, turn me.
me next. We'll live
I want to
together
be young and beautiful
forever.
forever.
I don't know why the vampires spend so much time just like fucking with other people in these movies. Like, just
Yeah.
you've got a sweet ass life. Just do your fucking thing and nobody's gonna bother you. For the most part. But
Yeah.
these boys keep like poking the bear and shit. So
They
don't
they all feel like recently turned.
yes.
Like
Yeah.
these are
Yeah.
not vampires from the 1800s. These are not
Right.
No,
vampires from the 1950s. These are
this is
like,
their time right now.
yeah, like they were all turned like last month.
These vampires were
Literally.
born in like 1968. Yeah.
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 So they don't have that like, ennui of like I've lived 200 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they're touching on like the benefits of their powers, and they're like still running on that high of the newness of being like, ha ha ha, nobody can mess with us. We
Yeah.
can't die. This
Yeah.
Fuck
sort
with
of thing.
authority.
Right. There's no consequences truly to their actions, they don't think,
Yeah.
or they haven't come across them yet. You know what I mean? And what we don't see is what I want to know more about is their relationship with Max. Like when we find out later,
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
what is it? Because he calls them his boys. So I'm like, so you've had some sort of convo about this, right?
Yeah.
You must have taught them the ways,
Yeah.
you know?
It feels like that, but then like Max smartly like distances himself according to the public. It's like we
Yes.
can never be
Right.
seen in public together, like because nobody can know he's the head
Right.
vampire because
Then
that's
that
the
would make them
Achilles heel.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I
But
I'm very I have a lot of questions about the selection of vampires. Like one, why if Max is the head vampire, why did he turn those 4 knuckleheads into vampires? My guess
right.
was out of rage to fuck with them, and then he ended up making them and was like, well, I guess I made these by accident. Oops.
He
Well,
wants
if
them
I can just
hot
contain
and
them.
dumb.
Yeah. But then I was really confused by like I understood why Star was there, like David has hot girlfriend, tries to
Right.
turn his hot girlfriend, but why is
Yeah.
Laddie there?
Oh my
Why
God,
is the
that is
wild
my
Irish
question.
Right.
laddie hanging out in
Ooh.
yeah.
Is this like a Kirsten Dunst interview of the vampire where they're like, I want a baby, so I'm just gonna grab this little guy and we're gonna turn him into a
Yeah.
vampire.
Because it wasn't
Did
like
Star know Laddie from before?
Is that her little
like it
brother?
wasn't
Yeah.
no, it wasn't her little brother or anything. I mean, not that I mean, it seems like that they have that sort of relationship,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
but like I don't maybe she was his babysitter.
Oh,
Ooh.
maybe so.
That would be interesting. See, but that's the stuff that they never explain it.
Mm-mm.
They never explain their relationship. It was like, was this kid just wandering alone in a park and then you like made him drink out of a bottle?
Yeah.
Was he just like a little like, or did you bite the kid? I don't know.
Well,
That's what I'm
actually,
saying.
well, that was we get into the lore. They're like, okay, you're a half vampire until your first kill, and then you're in the gang, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe it like they were going like Laddie was going to be somebody's victim, and they just couldn't do it because it's a kid. So they're like, we'll just turn you instead.
Yeah.
Right.
I
I
can't
do.
kill this adorable child, so we're just going to make you a forever companion.
It does feel haphazard. Like I feel like Max never intended to have this menagerie of vampire sidekicks or whatever. Well, speaking of Max, Lucy is going to go to his house one afternoon to take him a bottle of wine to apologize for ditching him on the date. But because it's daytime, he is clearly asleep, and all that is there is his dog Thorn. And Thorn turns
Thorn.
into Hound of Hell, which is the comic book that
Right.
Sam is reading in her car when she, goes through his little front gate. And Thorn comes after her, is like ripping at her dress as she's climbing over the fence. And
that action sequence is so intense.
it's really
Like,
intense. The dog's
Diane
chipping away the
Wiest.
fence.
Okay, we have made it through this entire movie. Diane Wiest, everybody. Like,
Yeah.
Academy Award winner? I'm pretty sure she won for Bullets Over Broadway, for Diane Wiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she's throwing herself over that fence.
Yes. Yes.
It's the way she went over. I was like,
I
oh,
know.
it looks like it really hurt,
Yeah.
actually. But it like gave the real terror feeling that she was like running from this animal that was looking like they were gonna fuck her shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he's like biting through the fence.
Yeah. He busted through.
Yeah. He
Towards the
busted
end.
through that fence. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But
That's scary.
This is where Sam is like, I think Max is the head vampire because he's got a Hound of Hell. He's not around in the daytime.
Right.
Can't be around in the light. This all started when Mom got that job at the video store. So Max, it turns out Max is coming over for dinner that night or the next night, whenever. And this is
Let's
when
prank him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so he invites. So Michael is going out for the night, but he, in the process of leaving, runs into Max, and Max is like, "Well, you're the man of the house. I'm not coming in until I'm invited. You're invited," and he fucks off.
I love how subtly Grandpa just fades into the back. Like he kind of plays it off of like company. I don't want company. They're like, you've not had company in like 8 years. He's like, yeah, exactly. But in light of the end of the movie, Grandpa knows what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grandpa's keeping a close eye on shit, which is adorable.
Yeah.
He's a great Deus Ex Machina in this movie.
And it's better to be like to observe and not be observed by the vampires
Yes.
at all.
Yeah.
Yes. But Sam brings over Edgar and Alan Frog. And they've got a whole plan. So it's like, Mr. What is Max's last name? Mr. Max, do you want freshly grated Parmesan cheese? I grated it myself.
I love when she goes, my son. Like it's like
Yeah.
a Jew, like the most Jewish mother, like my son and the Parmesan grater. Oh,
I'm
look
like,
at
of
him.
all the things, of all the things to do, like grating Parmesan is like the least taxing. But we'll give you credit where credit's due. Except it's just minced garlic.
It's just minced garlic, like straight out
Yeah.
the shaker.
Dried up minced garlic. Yeah.
I also want to credit just a 1980s family for actually freshly shaving Parmesan. Do you know what I mean? In the
That
sense
didn't
that,
start
Yeah,
until the
true.
Olive
because
Garden.
all we had were those fucking like green craft
Oh yeah, that was it.
Parmesan.
cardboard cans
Oh, yeah.
of shaken Parmesan,
Yep.
which I'm not mad
That
about.
stuff
That's
that
a
stuff
different
still
flavor,
hits every
though.
once in
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So the garlic doesn't work. He kind of chokes on the garlic, and all the boys are like, "What? Maybe?"
Vampire?
And he's like, "No, I like garlic. It's just a lot because I
It's
thought it was
spicy."
cheese."
Ah, spicy.
They also throw a mirror in his face, and that doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. They dump water
They
on
tu-
his lap.
Well,
They're
Yeah,
like, it
holy
burns,
water.
right? He's like, no, it's
when they
it's cold.
turn off the lights, they're like, "Why isn't he glowing?" I was like, "When did
I
a
know,
vampire
right?
glow, girl?"
Because he's
Twilight.
from Twilight. Yep. Thank you, Jeffrey. Duh.
That was in the light. They sparkle.
Okay. Well, these vampires sparkle, as we clearly
And they're-
saw when they got out of the vampire cave. They've been wrestling in glitter goo.
Is goo. Yeah. Oh.
Glitter goo. That can we add that to the Random Horror
Glitter.
9 band list?
Glitter goo. So yeah, he kind of gives this like speech to Sam to be like, "Listen, I'm not trying to be your dad. I'm just trying to get to know you as a friend." And he's kind of playing it off kind of a dickish sort of way because he's doing the
Yeah.
ultimatum on Lucy, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like he's playing it off in a classy, non-vampiric way.
Yeah.
And saying
like
like,
get those kids under control.
yeah.
But
Yeah, kind of being like, kids love discipline. You should know that as a mother. I'm like, fuck off.
and as your boss.
And as your boss.
So
he-
fucked up.
He says, well, let's try one more time tomorrow night. My house. I'm cooking. Okay. They go. Now David approaches Michael, who's been looking for Star. And he approaches him at the boardwalk again. It's like, hey, if you ever want to see Star again, you better come with us now. And they go to this bonfire of just dudes having a bonfire listening to Run DMC.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to have a good time, y'all. And then they all fly in and attack the bonfire enjoyers.
Now I love this because this is the first time we get to see the gang as vampires.
Yes.
Like close up,
Right.
makeup,
teeth, eyes.
the full thing. And it's kind
Yeah,
of
with
funny,
the
like,
eyes, yeah.
like in like thinking about something like From Dusk Till Dawn, in which vampires were so much more monstery, versus in this one they're like really like it's light vampiric makeup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they put some teeth, a little bit of teeth, a little bit of eyes, maybe a little, elongation of the like cheekbones, but they're not like grotesque. Still sexy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the first like full reveal, which is I think such a great. I mean, that's kind of like right at about the halfway moment in a horror film, monster movie. That this is where you have to like hit that beat at the 50% mark, and that's
Like
kind of what happens.
See the
here.
villain for who he is, or who she is, or they are.
Yeah, you can have a lot of these like sneaking little like something grabs somebody and pulls them into the
yeah.
lake or whatever. But like at this point, you need to see your whole fucking monster. We need to see Godzilla. We can't just have like we need to see Jaws. We can't just have a fin.
This is also like the most gore we see in this entire movie. Like I think somebody bite. Like I think it's like
He bites his head.
bites
he
into his
rips like his scalp
skull.
off.
Skull.
Yeah.
And then rips his skull. And then there's like a throat hole that's ripped. And then the other guy's like holding the guy, similar to when we were watching From Dusk Till Dawn when they made
Yes.
the guitar body.
Oh my
It was
God, yes.
he was holding him like by the bonfire, and then they're just tossing him in the fire.
They're like, we're just thirsty. Throw away your
Yeah.
leftovers, make it burn blue, which is just a little weird touch that makes no sense at all that I also kind of love.
Yeah, because you're
But
like,
has
okay,
vampire
what
lore.
chemicals?
That's in Dracula of like, the sort of the blue fires, this like sort of hellfire that surrounds Dracula's castle. In this,
Yeah, but
why do these surf Nazis' bodies burn blue? I don't know.
right, usually like fire reacts like that to certain like compounds, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
like, what
Not
could they have had?
teenagers.
Maybe it was heroin because they're like,
Oh yeah. I thought you were going to say
the drugs.
Aquanet. It's the
I was
amount
gonna
of
say Aquanet. Yeah, I was gonna say
Aquanet.
some kind of moose. Yeah.
Vita Sassoon.
Yeah, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But then he's so disgusted by like what he's truly
Yeah.
seeing that he throws himself down the dune
Mm-hmm.
and he's laying at the bottom, all dramatic. And they come to the top of the hill and they're like, now you see what we are. And it is that realization where it's not like a sexy, fun romp,
Yeah.
in a way. It's not just like, oh, well, we could just be like this like forever or whatever.
Yeah.
There are consequences.
You see the dark side. Yeah.
There's a price.
Yeah.
Right. And the price is blood.
Yeah, because they present you'll never grow old or die,
Yeah.
but you must feed. Like you have to take
Yes.
this second step.
Yeah.
You drank my blood. Part 2 is you got to kill a person and eat them. Star comes over. He goes back home. Michael goes back home. Star shows up at his house, like suddenly in the second floor bedroom,
Whoosh.
just zip, like just teleport. And she's in the house and she basically says, you were supposed to be my first kill, but I cared too much about you. I couldn't do it. Actually,
Yeah.
now I'm hoping you're going to help me and Laddie get out of this fuck shit stack that we're in.
And you know it was the night that they were listening to Saxophone Solo that she was like, that guy. I'm gonna get you later.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Goodbye.
So
Yeah.
now they've got it. So Sam is there too, and Sam is like, we got a plan. Here's the plan. We're gonna take Granddad's car tomorrow in the daytime.
Yep.
They make vampire steaks and they drive all the way down to that cave and they go in and are like, let's start vampire hunting.
Oh, these boys make so much goddamn noise. The Frog Brothers are
screaming.
The elephant, there's no way. Even if these vampires are asleep, and I do kind of like the reveal that they're hanging upside down like bats. I think that's
like
great.
bats. Yeah.
But like these kids go in like fucking elephants into this vampire lair in which a degree of sneakiness I would think would be your MO. No, absolutely not.
Right. Because while they are asleep, they could still fucking wake up and bite the shit out of you if you're inside of their thing. And like that, you wouldn't think hard enough to be like, oh, we're going into their lair, which who knows what kind of twists and turns are going to be. Like if you've never been there before, you don't know the layout of the place. You think you could go and maybe scout it out first.
Yeah.
Do something like that. Do some daytime recon.
I mean,
and
I would
then
think
like
flashlights or glow sticks would be high up on the list, but they don't seem to have many.
Bring
of
a
those.
cross, bring a holy water to fight them back. Yeah.
And you don't even know which one is the main one.
Yes.
So you're going in there ostensibly like blind, being like, well, there's 4 of them. But like once you stake one, like you really need to be like staking 3, like there's 3 of you
all at the same time. Yeah.
At the same time. So you only have like really 1 left that you need to, whatever.
And
then that's where you have the super soaker filled with holy water.
As like
which did not think about. They didn't have that before.
No, not yet.
No.
I know. I think they did. They did do the because we
back at the house.
cheeky,
they've got a squirt gun at least filled with holy water.
And they did the cheeky cutaway shot of them going and like filling their canteens.
That's after this.
Oh, is that afterwards?
It's after. So they learned their lesson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
it's after this because they're like, "Well, I should go. Well, we should prepare for them coming to like beat us up
which would
tonight,
eat us.
Yeah.
beat us and eat us."
I think the movie also does like a really sneaky thing of like keeping Star like mute throughout these scenes because wouldn't she know who the head vampire is? Or have an idea that it's maybe not one of the, like they just kind of bundle Star and Laddie
Yeah.
away.
These boys, the
Yeah,
Sam
these
and the
boys are
Frog Brothers, like they're
yeah,
not. They're all intensity and
yeah,
little brains. Like
yes.
they
Yeah,
have information, but not intelligence around how to plan all of this.
right.
So the other part of this plan of going to this cave was Mike, throws a blanket over Laddie, carries Laddie up to the car, and does the same for Star as well, takes them out of the cave. And the boys kill Marco. That's
Oh,
it.
Marco.
Not Darko,
Yeah.
not Draco, Marco.
Bill.
And Bill,
Yeah.
they kill Alex Winter. There's just like not even blood, it's just like goo spraying everywhere. So gross.
It's sparkle
Sparkle goo. Yep.
sparkle goo. That glitter glue. I wrote on here, I was like, Bill, colon, gooey explosion. Why is the goo sparkling? And I realized I had never noticed that before. Sorry.
No,
In the movie.
I
I've
hadn't
seen
either.
this a number of times. Yeah.
Another phrase, Symphony, you and I have talked about bringing back, because you brought back while we've been on tour before, the phrase "yeah right," and it's
Yeah,
stuck,
right.
yeah right. So that's stuck in my head. I say that all the time now. Another great,
Yeah.
like very 80s feeling phrase that David screams when he chases them out of the cave. He almost gets Sam, but he just like burns his hand on the light and the boys get free. But as he shouts at the boys running off, he says, "You're dead meat."
Oh, yeah.
Don't say that enough.
You're dead
No one
meat,
says
man.
dead meat.
Dead meat.
So good. Every 80s bully
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
was like, "You're dead meat. You're
Dead.
dead. You hear me? You're dead meat."
So they race back to the house. They get Star and Laddie scared away upstairs. Sam goes to the video store in the middle of the day to be like, Mom,
In
there's
the fall.
vampires and they're doing the thing. And she's like, I will deal with you later, young
You
man.
need to touch grass, young man.
Yeah. To be fair, he is tripping.
He is
Like,
very much tripping.
if somebody came up to me like that, even if, like I said before, I would be understanding and I'd be like, oh, okay, let's talk about vampirism. That's in a one-on-one conversation. We're having a calm conversation. You're telling me what's going on.
Uh-huh.
But you come into my place of business. You've been acting crazy. You've been being weird to my boyfriend boss.
Yeah.
And now you come in here screaming about vampires
There's also like 10 other people in the store that are
who
all
are looking
also,
at you.
Yeah, that are also like very clearly like also like single like moms,
Uh-huh.
doing their video shopping. That it's
Yeah.
very it has this intense feeling of like single mom, get your kid under control, single mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has to really show him what's for.
Yeah.
So later that night, they're all kind of like fortifying Grandpa's house.
I
Mom
love
is
a
out.
good,
Oh.
I love a good prep montage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where they go to the church. They interrupt
Yeah.
the baptism.
Yeah.
They interrupt the baptism.
Shaving
glug glug.
Corey Haim is just like randomly smashing garlic with a mallet.
It's aren't you
Still in
supposed
the
to put that in a
bathtub.
thing?
Love it. I love a good prep montage.
So good.
Yeah.
Because she's over at Max's house having dinner.
Yeah.
But so Nanook gets out of the house and runs out to kind of like the fence, barking at something, and Sam runs to go save Nanook, which means Michael has to go save Sam, and the vampires are just swooping in. It's another like got away just in time.
Yeah.
But this is where
Oh no, he was latched up out there. They had tied him up out there.
Oh, they had tied him up. I'm sorry, I missed that part.
Yeah.
I thought he had.
And then they forgot him.
But
terrible.
in my
Come on.
brain, I'm like, how'd you forget your damn dog
Yeah,
is
right.
outside? I can understand you. You're like, I'm gonna set up the house. We don't want him in the way. Let's put him outside. Put him on the porch, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of the post on the porch,
Like-
not all the way down the
Yeah,
driveway.
like
Because
100
that's
feet
bait.
down.
At that point, you're
No
just
way.
using the dog as bait.
Right.
Yeah. The
Anyway.
vampire emerges. One of the vampires that I'm sure has a name emerges from the fireplace. Vampire Santa
Oh, I love it.
emerges from the
Vamp Santa.
fireplace.
Vampanta.
But they get the Frog Brothers get cornered in the bathroom by this vampire, and they try to use garlic on him, and he was like, "Garlic don't work, boys." And they're like, "Try holy water." Splash,
Squirt,
splash.
squirt. Oh,
Oh yeah, squirt, squirt.
They,
And then the Nanook dives in and splashes
Oh.
him
Nanook
into
is the one.
Yeah.
my God.
So
Yeah.
I wrote on here, Nanook won. Okay, I
Yes.
started scoring
Yes.
who got the kills. Nanook got the kill on that. Those guys, you just splashing water in this thing's face.
Yeah.
He don't care nothing about that. You have to that's a small distraction.
Yeah.
But they were falling over on each other. If y'all were better, see, that's why I'm saying rude mechanicals.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like
Bumbling.
they're like bumbling.
Bumble
They're
cops.
like, yeah, and they're like, huh, and I'm like, you're gonna get bit up that way.
Yeah.
But Nanook did not come to play, and he did his big one right there, and he knocked that guy in
Roundhouse. Karate Kid roundhouse kick from the dog.
and turned that into good soup.
Good soup with a plastic life sciences skeleton from your
Yes.
7th grade
But with the
class
teeth,
popping
but with the
out.
teeth,
Yeah.
but it had the vampire teeth. I was like, no fucking way. They're like, if we just flash it really quick,
No,
like it just
No,
comes up, it
They'll
just
never
comes up
see.
and down.
They'll
I'm
just-
like, no, never notice.
No one's gonna know. Who's gonna know? They're gonna know.
Who's gonna know?
Well, you know how they're going to know? Because the entire plumbing system of the house comes undone from this one vampire kill.
It just
That is
sprays poo
crazy.
everywhere. Just it's
2 sinks. The kitchen downstairs.
The shower.
pipes in
The
the walls.
toilet,
Like
bust the
everything.
toilets, bust
Yeah.
them.
busts them.
The toilets. How are the toilets breaking? Is that powerful? Also, they release the plug on that tub so
Right.
that the water went down? How did it get down there? How did it
This is
start
a-
burbling up?
This is a
Why
spicy soup. Spicy
Why-
vampire soup.
Why is your plumbing circuitous?
No,
Yeah.
right?
That
What?
does that happen when you regularly take a bath? Stuff starts bubbling up through the sink and busting up the toilets? Get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here. Get the
Mm.
fuck out
Grandpa.
of here.
Grandpa, what's up with these pipes?
Yeah. Yeah. Plumbing should not be on a closed circuit.
No.
Gray water.
Great. Ugh.
Ugh.
We run on a
Okay.
gray water system here.
So Edgar got the first kill in the cave.
Yep.
Nanook got the second kill.
Yep.
Okay, now then we're gonna have Sam because the other
Yeah.
vampire.
Yeah.
This is where Sam is the one who squirts him with holy water.
Yes.
Like has the little
Squirts right
Yeah.
in the eye.
When
Yeah,
the guy
between the
picks him
eyes.
up.
Yeah.
and then he shoots him with an arrow.
Right.
The vampire collapses, but then
Because
pops
he
back
fakes
up.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he fakes it. He's like, haha, you missed, sucker. But the second arrow goes through his chest and impales this vampire onto the stereo.
Like,
Death by
Oh.
stereo.
oh my God. Which like turns the stereo on so we can have music while the vampire. Like, this is the most MTV generation 80s moment
Absolutely.
Totally.
of like watching a vampire in black leather with like sparklers out of like a giant Dolby surround sound.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Peak 80s.
hmm
Yeah. Just like impaled on a stereo, and it's
Yeah.
like I love
good.
it. I love the fireworks. I love the pyrotechnics. I'm here for it. And it just makes it fun. It's like adds
Yeah.
an element of fun because it's not as gory as like,
No.
oh, they just like, and they all, like they said, they're all going to die different. Some of them die with this,
Oh,
some
that's
of them die with
right.
that.
Yeah.
The Frog Brothers
Just heads
did
up.
say that. But I'm like, so they foretold it a little bit. But I think that's kind of fun because then it's not like
because that's
as boring.
That's
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher being like, I just want to clarify that I'm going to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
fun with the ways in which I kill these vampires. and the
Yep.
ways in which
Right.
they die. So I'll just have a character say that's part of the lore, so nobody's like, wait, that one melted while as that one turned into a skeleton. While as
Right. And then when Michael kills fucking David
Oh yeah.
on the horns in the taxidermy office.
Yep.
Well, this vampire fight is
Yeah.
real sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the most sexy.
It
Oh my
is
God.
like this is like I think there's like Top Gun unintentional homoerotic, and then there's like Lost Boys is like gotta be a
Yeah.
pretty close second.
It's
They're like
it's
floating
very
through
sexy.
the air, tumbling around.
Just grabbing each other by their scruffs.
I know, right? Or just like when
It's
when
like kiss.
when David like is in the
Wait.
shadows, just like slapping Michael, just like I got you. Slap that.
Also, the fact that he dies like an angel.
Yeah.
He died. They like oh, he impales him.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So
like an oryx, like this, like that's like
Yeah, I
some
know,
like
right?
Yeah.
that's like some African land grazing mammal.
Yeah, where'd you get those horns from,
Yeah.
Grandpa? So he impales him, sexy.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he's dying, he like turns back to his angelic,
I
heavenly
know.
skin, and there's this cool blue light on his like icy blonde hair, and he's just like,
And then we get the chorus. Thou shalt
I know.
not
Yes.
kill.
Yes. Refrain
And-
of the music.
and then they kiss. No.
No.
And then he's like, damn, I'm still a vampire, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Edgar's like, there's still one more. And this is when Lucy and Max get home.
Yeah.
Max comes in, sees everything that's happening. Lucy's, of course, freaking out. Max looks a little alarmed seeing David dead. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, Lucy. David and my boys misbehaved. And this confirms he was the head vampire. And Sam's like, how did you pass my tests? He's like, don't ever invite a vampire into your home, silly boy. It renders you powerless. I loved that. Okay, so let me back up. Let me ask you a question. What is, he says it here, but I don't know that I fully follow. What is Max's end game? Like, what does Max want? Why is he doing all of this?
He wanted to have a big family nest.
Yeah.
Right. So he wanted Lucy, the mom, to be like his like queen vampire lady. And
Yeah.
like them to have all these like vampire kids. Like I was gonna bring your kids into the fold and like I have my kids, and then we are these vampire people, and we're gonna like basically, I think, rule the town, but like in a surreptitious way. Do you know what I mean? But
So
he
he's
was
just
like,
looking to
these kids
get
are
married,
running
have a
wild.
family.
that
These
he's
kids are
ready to
running
settle
wild.
down for
Yeah.
He's ready to settle down for his eternity. And he thought that just having these kids would be like enough. But
No.
he needs a mother. He was like, they need a mother. So then you'll be the mother to all of them. And we'll have this vampire, this immortal family. He's trying to be the Cullens.
Or as Edgar says, great, the blood-sucking Brady Bunch.
Yes.
Right.
I know.
Exactly.
Because it's like a little blended. Here's the story of a lovely vampire that was bringing
Who
up
was bringing up four vampire boys of his own.
Yeah.
So
all of them hair of gold. Like their father. No, go ahead.
So Michael is like, well, I didn't invite you this time, Max, and comes after him. But Max is just like, shoot, just throws him easily against the wall. Max is in full like vampire creepy face mode at this point.
Yeah.
Too.
His hair got big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's the most monstrous out of all of them. Like he looks the most like,
because he's the
from
daddy
dusk till
vampire.
dawn kind of vampire rather than like the hunger kind of vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the type. Well, first of all, the whole vibes of this is, anytime a villain tells their like thing, you know what I mean? They're gonna tell the planet. Because he like swooped around. It was like he might as well have had a chair that he like turned around and was like,
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
It was very much that, and I just, it's good to like kind of wrap it up. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I wanted. Let's lay out the plot points here, right?
Yeah.
And so then he decides he's gonna fight the whole family
Uh-huh.
or
Well,
whoever's left, and he smacked bitches left and right.
yeah, and he also grabs, I think it's Sam,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah,
basically like, because Sam comes after him, but he
Yeah.
like gets him in a headlock and is
yeah,
essentially, he doesn't say this, but it's very strongly implied. It's like, I can kill this boy or you can give yourself up to me.
Yeah.
And she
yeah.
does.
Become my
She like
queen.
offers her neck to him, and he's
Yeah.
just about to bite down when we hear da 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 da
Oh
and
my
the
God.
horn from
My
Grandpa's Jeep.
cucaracha.
How did he know to drive that truck straight into his own house?
It's
Unless he
so
was
good.
Because
like he came back home, he peeked in the window, he's like, oh, there's a vampire fight. You know what I got?
no,
I
I
got
know
the
what
wood
happened.
fence post that I've been working
Yeah.
on. Strap that
Yeah.
to the front of my Jeep and just target it right here. That'll get him.
Right here. Right at
I know what
the
happened.
window.
So remember, Sam and then we were like, "Oh, the widow wants you to come
Yeah,
over at
it's her
7."
date night,
So
right?
they were thinking that they were sending him out to safety or whatever, and he was like, "I don't remember having a whatever." He might have still gone over there, but then he
Yeah.
was like,
Wait a
"Something
minute.
sus."
Yeah,
And by
Yeah.
the
yeah, yeah.
time he got back, he probably saw Max's car and heard all the commotion and was like, "Oh shit!" And like he took a chance. I think. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Definitely with his
but he
aim,
flipped.
assuming he's going to hit the right
Yeah,
No,
person.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he just drove through his own living room. He drove up the porch,
Yeah.
drove
Yeah.
up the porch, and right into that boy, stabbed him up.
Right into Max's chest and impales him into the wall. Done and done. And Star, Michael, and Laddie all become normal humans again.
Yep.
And then I love this. One of the things I
The
love
end.
so much about this
Yeah.
movie,
The
because Grandpa
tagline.
walks right to the fridge, takes the
Yeah.
root beer out of his like marked off second shelf that's only for him, starts chugging the root beer, and he says, "One thing about Santa Carla I could never stomach, all the damn vampires." Credits.
End
Boom.
of
Just
movie. Yeah.
Love it.
don't, I don't need an
Perfect
epilogue.
ending.
I don't need
No.
shit. That was
No,
awesome.
perfect movie. Perfect movie ending. Because also you're just like, you've seen everything that you need to see
Yeah.
of this story. That's all you need to know. And that's the end of it. So it also tells you that the grandpa knew all this stuff along. And when you
Hmm.
mentioned that when he like kind of receded when Max came in that first time or whatever,
Uh-huh.
he knew what the fuck was going on. He's lived there long enough to, that's why he lives up on the hill. He doesn't
Yeah.
get bothered by the random vampires and all
The
the
boardwalk
mess.
vampires. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. But boardwalk vampires. No, that's a pop punk group.
That's an HBO show, Boardwalk Vampire.
That's right.
Uh,
Yeah. So
shall we rate this movie?
Yes.
yeah.
Let's.
All right, we'll start with approachability. How approachable is this movie? If you're horror film verse on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not approachable, 10 being very approachable. Like The Lost Boys has got to be like 8 shredded garlic toppings out of 10, right? Like it's a little bit gloopy gloppy. It's creepy. It's got all kind of the 80s bully dirtbag vibes to it. But this is a very PG horror movie, PG-13 ish. And I think it's so much fun. It feels more like teen action than teen horror. I don't think it's scary. I think it's more of a just like a creepy dirtbaggy vibe. So I don't know. Like as far as like content warnings and this, like mild blood and gore, jump scares, I don't know a little bit of that, but it's pretty easy going. I would say you got to watch this if you want to see a really rad fucking bitchin' soundtrack 80s film. As a horror film, not to speak of approachability, just horror in general, Cecil, what do you think?
As a horror film, this one's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
It takes the vampire and sort of revives it for the 80s and puts its 80 MTV generation stamp on it.
Yeah.
It does have like kind of a mishmash of vampire lore, but it also addresses that. So I'm here for it. Yeah, I would say like I think I'm gonna knock it down one. Just say 7 out of 10
Mm-hmm.
hellhounds.
Mm-hmm.
Just because some of it does seem a bit piecemeal.
Yeah.
Where they're like this, but not this, but this, but not this, but this, but not this, but this, not this.
Symphony, what do you think of this as a vampire film, as a vampire film? Where does this place in the canon of vampire movies?
Well, I think this movie is a romp. a sexy 80s romp. And so I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 bat feet hanging, bat toes hanging upside
Oh
down.
yeah, I forgot about those.
Yeah.
Bitch, did you
So
see those
good.
feet?
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he needs those like little plastic goo slippers you told me about that like he needs to wear
The peeling
those.
socks.
Yeah, the peeling
Mhm.
socks. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, for the free? Damn.
Mm. I know a spa in California you can go to for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I give it 8 out of 10 bat vampire feet, gnarly vampire feet, because it's a super fun movie. It's sexy, it's lively, it's approachable, and it gives a good time. But if you're looking for a solid like super vampire lore, you're not gonna exactly get it, but it's enough that you're like, oh, this is obviously vampires. It's not obscure.
Well, let's figure out what movie we're gonna watch next, Cecil. You have a scare die. I have a style die. We'll roll those two up, see what movie matches the things that we roll. So, Cecil, if you roll a 1, our scare is isolation. 2, planes, trains, and automobiles, a vehicular scare. 3, wild card, whatever scare we want. 4, bad mom or bad dad. 5, cult is the scare. 6, aliens. What is our scare, Cecil?
That's a 3.
Oh, we're gonna hit that wild card.
Right
Okay.
again.
All right.
Yes.
All right, so style, if I roll a 1, it'll be a movie from the Southern Hemisphere. If I roll a 2, it's got to be a splatter film. 3, a sequel, prequel, or remake. Or if I roll a 4, it's got to be a cult film, meaning a cult following. 5, something from the 1970s. Or 6, an urban setting in a film. So what do we got here? I also have a 3, sequel, prequel, remake, wild card.
Yes.
And so the way this works, Cecil and I, when we get a wild card, it just means we both bring 3 movies to this, and then we roll a die to see which one we land on. But we'll talk about which ones those are. But I also, since we have Symphony here, I really want Symphony's input on this too, because I think we reserve the right to maybe replace a movie or two if you got one Symphony. But
Oh yeah.
we're dealing
Sequel,
with
prequel.
got to be a sequel, prequel, or remake. Whatever wild card we want. So you want to tell me what you put on your list, Cecil?
We've not covered this movie, I don't think. So warning, edit here. Can we edit this out? We've
Oh,
not done
yeah.
Hellraiser 2, right? We've not done Hellraiser 2.
No, we have not.
Oh!
No, we've only
Okay,
done
thank God.
Hellraiser. Yeah.
I was like, because I've watched this movie recently, but I was
Yeah.
like, did I watch this for the show? Oh no, or did I just watch it for fun?
Yeah.
So Hellbound, Hellraiser 2.
Okay. Yeah. I've not seen this. I've seen Hellraiser 1 and I saw the remake from a couple years ago.
Which is amazing, which is a
which is
really good
wild.
one.
Yeah.
But this is the like picks up where Hellraiser 1 left off.
Okay.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. The second one I put on there was Nightmare on Elm Street 2 as well, which
Okay.
I know is like one of the least popular of the canon, but it's one of the gayer ones.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we've not covered it for this podcast, and I don't know, I think it might be an interesting conversation. It's one that I have not seen in quite a while.
And
I put
you
all
did.
2.
And you're the voice.
Yeah,
And
and
you're the voice of the
I
documentary
narrated
Scream
a documentary
Queen.
about
This actor, this film, all of that. Yeah.
yeah.
And what
And
else?
then let's see, I put also on here Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first, is like such a 70s moment. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is like very 80s, bigger, more intense, bigger.
Yeah. Want to see all of these. Have not seen any of them, and I love that all 3 of these are ones that we've covered the original on the show as well. All right, the 3 I put on here, one that I've been wanting to watch for the show for a while, Aliens, the James Cameron follow-up to Alien. It's much more of an action, bloody, splattery romp.
It's like war movie.
Yeah.
Rather
yeah,
than
total
suspense
war
movie.
Yeah. But I love this film. It's really great. The second movie I put on here was one that we have not covered for this show at all, Evil Dead 2. Like we both have seen it a lot. It's great.
We know it, we love it, but haven't talked
it.
about it on the show.
It's funny, all of these so far, except for my last one, but the ones that you picked and the 2, they're all 80s movies too, I
Oh,
think,
oh,
which is interesting.
oh, yeah.
Okay, and finally, I put on here 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is a
Ah,
2010s, I believe, film. Uh, yeah, kind of. It's actually a movie. It's a sequel to Cloverfield, but it's more about in the lore of the world as
Yeah.
opposed to. And I haven't seen this. I'm aware of the film. I have a rough idea of
Oh,
what
okay.
it
I won't say
is. I think I
anything.
even
I will
had
say
the
nothing.
ending spoiled for me, et cetera, et cetera. But still, I would like to watch it. I love a John Goodman. I love a kind of like a creepy like bottle movie-ish sort of thing.
Yeah.
Who like the most unreliable of narrators sort of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the six we have. Symphony.
yeah.
What would you put on here? Like what would you,
Well,
like a sequel, prequel, or remake? Like what's one that you would want to see if you
okay,
were picking?
immediately as your resident vampire expert, I couldn't I would be remiss if I didn't mention like Underworld Evolution.
Oh
Oh
my
wow.
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's
Yeah.
one of my favorite vampire like series besides
Vampire v
Blade. And
Werewolf.
yeah, Blade. Well, and it's a little crisscross of that too. Um, any of the Blade 2 is
Well,
fun
like Blade
and
3, isn't
weird.
Blade 3 the one that's just like totally insane? It's not the one with Ryan
I
Reynolds and
can't
Parker
remember which
Posey.
one.
Which one
I
has
thought
Parker
Blade
Posey?
2.
Because
I thought
that's
Blade
the
2
one.
was the one with Parker Posey in it,
Oh
but
shit.
I could
Okay.
be wrong. It could be 3 and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Anyway, but also, I mean, all of the ones that you guys said sound awesome. I also have an affinity in my heart for Hellraiser movies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Nightmare on Elm Street. So
Yeah.
I think 80s was like the peak of that was like the start of all of my love
Yeah.
of horror. So I guess that's where my mind goes. But yeah, I'll toss in there Underworld because I Underworld Evolution because that's
Blade
what
3 was the one with Parker Posey, Ryan Reynolds,
okay, Blade 3.
And Jessica Biel. Um,
And it does get a little bit into his backstory. I think is that the one with the mom or the second one is the one with the mom?
Oh, I don't remember. I've not seen any of these like since they came out.
Oh, they're always on TV or
Makes
were.
sense. Yeah, we're.
okay,
So
Symphony, I'm gonna give you two options. You'll
got it.
decide how we do this. One, you can just take the list of movies that we have named so far, and you just pick them. That's a form of randomness for us
Oh,
to
whoa,
have you just be
whoa.
like, we'll tell you what the movies are that we have on the list, or the other option, we could just add Underworld Evolution and Blade 3 and then roll an 8-sided die and see what happens.
Do it.
You want to do
Roll a
that?
die.
Roll a die?
Roll a
How
die.
do you feel about that, Cecil?
I'm good with that.
Okay. Let me I'm gonna dig out my that is a 10. Where's my 8? I got an 8 right here. Okay, great. All right, so let's recap. 1, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. If I roll a 3, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. 4 is an Aliens. 5 is an Evil Dead 2. 6 is 10 Cloverfield Lane. 7, Underworld Evolution. Or 8, we'll watch Blade 3. Let's see what we got. That is a 1. We are going to do
Yeah,
Hellbound,
Hellbound.
Hellraiser 2.
So
Excellent.
Electric
good. So
Boogaloo.
good.
Let me just pause for a second as I make sure that we are available.
Yeah, I think
Hellbound,
I looked it up
Hellraiser 2.
the
Yeah,
other day.
1988. It is available to stream. It is on Shudder.
Yes.
Great.
Great.
Well, that was fun and easy, and I'm excited to watch some more gloopy gloppy bullshit.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Sexy, gloopy, gloppy bullshit.
Sexy. Yeah, we're staying sexy, gloopy 80s. I love this
Yeah,
for us.
yeah.
Lay on a bed of blood.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Cecil, for talking with me. And thank you, Symphony Sanders, resident vampire expert. Symphony, where can people find you and your work in this world?
You can find me anywhere you find the internet on TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, or on my other podcast, Good Morning Night Vale. You know, from the internet, just yell into the internet tube and I will come a running.
If you have thoughts on The Lost Boys or ideas for other movies that would have been good, what's your wild card for a sequel, prequel, or remake? Let us know on Instagram at randomhorror9 or on our Patreon, where we have public discussion threads for each episode, and you do not need to be a paying member to participate in those. So watch Hellbound, Hellraiser 2 from 1988 with us this week, and come on back next Tuesday for a new episode. Have a restful night with no shitty dirtbag friends door dashing you maggots or nothing. Boo.
Boo.